ladies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Just one Martinham, give her to me. 1-0 Arsenal against Rosenborg, and Arsenal are through to the next round of the qualifiers for the Champions League. Everyone's excited. The stadium was bouncing at one point, and we're going to relive all that with Lottie. How are you?
Would help if I turned my mic on. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. A little bit chilly today. The weather's absolutely miserable in London. Just a bit cold.
It's been raining up here off and on all day, so you're not the only one. Adam, how are you?
It's been miserable here as well, I'm afraid. So obviously we're all enduring a bit of probably a post-Champions League celebration sort of hangover, if you will. But looking forward to picking over quite a joyous weekend in the end, and maybe look ahead to what is to come.
Can I just say how totally British we are sitting here talking about the weather?
Oh yes, absolutely. Top tea and all that. What ho. Bravo.
Oh God, don't start that.
And if you'd like to describe your weather, you can always do that in the comments section, wherever you are. I'm sure we'll all enjoy that, that's for sure. There's no news.
Whatever the weather.
That is true. There is no news this week again, so we're just going to go straight into the game. It's a bit difficult to really describe this game, but first of all, we'll go into the goal itself. So Leah Williamson plays Emily Fox a through ball towards Rosenborg's right. She opts to play 1-2 to Caitlin Ford before a short pass back to Leah Williamson, who then plays a first-time pass to Ford, who crosses. It's a lovely cross as well, only for Rigel Regante to palm the ball. It's a weird one because the ball, she's tried to palm it one way, the ball's actually deflected the other way, and I have, again, going back on the highlights, trying to watch it, it looks like it's Ina Stromsted Burera who tries to clear it, only for it to find the foot of Frida Marnham, who goes, "Thank you very much," and 1-0. Adam, how are you after this goal?
Yeah, it was sort of like we're up and running, a bit like the which was the game? Rangers, goal against Rangers when Ford scored in the first half. Joyous, really, but it was a goalkeeping howler, and it wasn't a good one. It's the quality of the delivery. I think you said it was by Ford, wasn't it?
Yes.
The delivery on the right. So she's obviously followed up from the 4 goals against Rangers, gets a great assist, and I can only assume the keeper misjudges the flight of the ball. Gets it completely wrong. Either claim or punch it, and I think in that situation you punch it clear, and she didn't, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us, unfortunately for Rosenborg, and yeah, it fell to Frida's path. I mean, I should say Frida. We were discussing lineups for this game, and I thought Rosa would come in, but no, same starting 11, and Frida was the one he stuck with, and I say fair enough. She warranted the start because she got what ultimately proved to be a winner. Right place, right time, slammed it in, and the Meadow Park was rather overjoyed with that. We thought there was 20 minutes on the clock or so, 1-0 up. Nerve settler, I think, is sort of the term we'd use, and the hope from then is to just that we were going to crack on and get more and more goals like we did against Rangers. Obviously, as we discussed, it didn't go that way, but it was a good moment of the night. Like I said, Meadow Park was. I think that's the advantage of having these qualifiers, obviously, in our own patch. To think about the previous ones we've had, out in Sweden and so on, where our away travelling crowd is passionate, but don't have the numbers that we can offer at Meadow Park. And it was a really, really good, proper under the nights sort of atmosphere, and they definitely enjoyed the first goal.
Lottie, the goal.
Oh yeah, no, I was square on to it. I'm actually in the access all areas. Apparently, I haven't actually watched it, but so I'm told. You can just vaguely see. But if you knew where I was sitting, you'd see me. Apparently, I wasn't animated enough for Adam, but unfortunately, I'm still got to deal with my my MCL. So people should understand instead of me getting criticised. And he's tilting his head now, trying to look very smug and not
I'm
sorry.
not smug.
So
I'm always respectful, Lottie, and you know we wish
oh,
you.
you're so easy to reel in. This is fun.
Hey, Leah
Anyway, back to the
Velti's made a
goal.
full recovery, and I'm glad that you're on the way as well.
Yeah, getting there. Can't stand in the North Bank. Can't stand in the South stands because I go sit on the West. So yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no, but it was a really good goal. Sitting square on from it, the goalkeeping error, it was just what a howler. But Frida took the opportunity, and that's exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
Just looking back on this one, the only thing I really think was the main issue was there's two issues. The goalkeeper's palmed it, as mentioned. She palmed it, but it's taken a wicked deflection. So I think it's come off her thumb. So it's gone, instead of bouncing off onto the left, so it's gone out of play. It's bounced off her right. So it's sort of just went up. And I think it's just the way her hand's positioned. So it's just sort of gone up. And I think that as the defenders tried to clear it, what's made that worse is that she's just sort of hoofed it and hope instead of going, right, need to kick this out, kick it out into hit it out into the throw in.
She's panicked.
Just, yeah. And they'll just before we move on into that sort of way, I've actually looked at the Champions League app itself, and it's an interesting formation. It's a bit of a change from the usual 4-2-3-1. It seems.
I think he did play a 4-2-3 on that. I think the app's probably got it wrong. What's the app suggesting?
Yeah, the app's not always right. I thought it was a 4-3-2-1.
This is why I find it always quite interesting to see what happens, because it doesn't always learn. They've gone with a 4-1-4-1 formation.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. We haven't gone for a lone pivot. I'm guessing it's suggesting Kyra as the lone pivot, and you've got Frida and Kim as the double in the midfield.
Yes. So I'll just read out that
line. Correct.
Yeah.
We'll just read that line up just quickly. So Manu was in goal, Emily Fox, Leah Williamson, Leah Cordina, Katie McCabe, Cara Cooney-Cross, Kim Little, Frida Marnham, Caitlin Ford, Mariona Caldente, and Alessia Russo all started. It was a bit of a packed bench as well. So you had Naomi Williams and our new number 14, which might annoy some kit number collectors, that's for sure. Lotta Weaver-Moy, Beth Mead, Leah Velty, Rosa Kafai, Katrina Muller-Cool, Stina Blackstenius, Laura Reuter, Freya Godfrey, Michelle Agerman, and Katie Reid all on the bench. That no one was expecting the starting 11 to change at all, were they?
I wasn't surprised.
No. It wasn't going to be a change. There's no way. It worked, so I didn't see him changing it.
The only thing I thought he might have changed was Frida and Rosa, but again, Ford deserved to stay on the right flank again. Again, plenty of humble pie after the Rangers game. Didn't get obviously 4 goals this time around, which is a shame, but obviously came up with a crucial. Well, it's not an assist, is it? Because of the way these things work, because it's a flap off the keeper, but her cross instigated the chaos. There's no reason to change it, and it gave them another chance to. We've got to gel this team together because obviously it's bigger games on the horizon. So it looks like this is the first team, because Beth Mead is still coming back from her injury, Lotta's still out obviously as well. It could well be that Jonas is just trying to get this team primed together with the Champions League playoff now we've got coming up, and also the Manchester City game. So he's probably just going to keep playing these players as a unit to build up the team chemistry. And yeah, it worked. We got the goal, and then should have scored a lot more. Watching it, it was just we'd seen Rosenborg play Atletico Madrid earlier in the week, and we've seen them be 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid. And Atletico, like us, had got that early goal, and only for Rosenborg right at the end, 91st minute, to steal the equaliser and completely flip the game. And you're just hoping you're not going to see a repeat, and you want that insurance policy of a second goal. So whilst we were overjoyed to take the lead, we're thinking this is far from over. We need that insurance policy.
That's why when we go to these games, I always want one or two to be rather two goals up at half time than just the one, because that gives you that insurance policy. And you sort of go, right, in that second half, you want at least one more. So then we've got that insurance to win the game a bit more comfortably should they pull a goal back. I'll go with the stats then, just to top it off how everything worked. So attempts for Arsenal, 29, 5 of those on target, 17 of those off, 7 of those blocked, 3 of them hit the woodwork, and 3 of them hit the post. Compared to Rosenborg, they only had 4 shots, 2 of those on target and 2 of them off.
Matt, I was going to ask you a question. Do you know how many balls went out into Meadow Park?
No. I think Adam was going to say something along those lines, weren't you?
What? Sorry, how many balls? What?
How many balls actually went into Meadow Park? Off the south stand and off the north stand.
Oh, out the set. Yes, there's a few out of the park. No, I was just saying I think it was 3 off. We didn't hit the post, but it was 3 off the crossbar. I mean, there was a ridiculous moment in the second half where Russo and Kyra hit the crossbar at the same time, within like 30 seconds, or even 10 seconds each other. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was quick concession, wasn't it? But if Kyra's goal went in, she would have officially opened her.
Yeah.
How do I put it? Home standings, a goal account, so to speak.
Well, she has
opened her away one, but
well, if we count friendlies, but yeah. When we saw her score against Southampton, the manner in which she scored, you're thinking, okay, she can score from range. It looked like she was going to do something similar on the night. It wasn't to be, sadly.
Well, we know she was knocking at the door of Spurs last year, but it just didn't happen.
I think it became, watching that game, and I think Roos at the bar in the first half as well. There was a really good blowing move where I sat in the East End, where we press baited Rosenborg, and then were able to very quickly manoeuvre the ball out. There was a really good switch from Kyra, and really good to see those switches of play sort of out to her forward, her compatriot. So obviously she's been working on that aspect of the game, which has been great to see. Bruce a bit unlucky to hit the bar. It was just one of those games, as the longer it went on, you're just thinking, I want to make sure that we don't lose it by trying to, what's the thing Wenger used to say? Lose a game when trying to win it, sort of thing. You know, we don't overcommit and then concede a silly equaliser, because I just felt Rosenborg on the break. I think we can probably say, I think they only had like 1 or 2 shots and they basically cleared the crossbar. They didn't really threaten, but a set piece, we know what Rosenborg are like. So I thought it was credit to Arsenal that they sort of didn't overcommit and go gung ho. They were they managed to strike that balance between control whilst also searching for the second goal. And it's just a frustration that there were plenty of chances on the board that we didn't take. But I suppose the good thing is we are at least creating the chances, which we weren't doing last season.
Lottie, it's just on the whole.
On the whole, what was really interesting from where I was sitting, I don't know about you, Adam, what you saw up the other end, but you sort of what you're watching the play and you've seen these triangles form.
Yes.
And I was just like, I was sitting there watching, okay, this is new. We didn't do this last season. So I'm wondering if that's going to be brought forward into the new season.
Yes. I think likes of Caldente and McCabe, there's quite a nice bit of interaction going on there, especially bouncing off Frida. Likewise, the opposite flank.
It's also, as well. when that does happen, it releases Fox. And exactly. I've noticed we go into a back three, which or it'll release, say, Leah Williamson or Katie. One of them will come forward and we'll go into a back three. But will it work against the likes of Chelsea?
Well, what we can say of Jonas is he's very good at tailoring the team for different teams, if you will.
I know. But if, for example, if he did that to Chelsea, would it have the same effect? That's my question.
We don't know. That is the good question, and sadly we don't know that at the moment. But I did like what I saw in obviously the first 60 minutes. We were doing those triangles. What concerned me was in the second half, and it was quite obvious from where I was at, because obviously the attack was over at the North Bank. The way there was moments when we what's best to describe it? Rosenborg were doing a low block as we expected them to do, and the way you want to pick them is to keep the ball moving and keep plenty of movement off the ball with the players to move the defence about and then find the spaces. But there were moments when we were stood on the ball and we just stopped. We just literally Leah Williamson put her foot on the ball.
More like hesitation to me, and I'm just like, kick the ball in the back of the net. Well, doesn't matter if you hit the North Bank, just kick the ball in the net.
But this wasn't in the box, so this was like on the edge of the box. This was Leah looking for options but
we can score from the edge of the box. We know this.
We've
seen it enough times, especially in the Champions League.
Yeah. I was saying, to clarify, the position was out on the wing, shall we say? This wasn't like front on the D, dead centre. What you want is a 1-2 to get around the defence or a whipped cross in, but Leah puts a foot on the ball, stops, and that's the whole momentum of the game just flatlines. And all of a sudden, Rosenborg are quite comfortable because they can go, right, well, we can mark up our players, we can shut down all the passing avenues. That did annoy me a bit. I think Jonas worked on that by basically bringing the substitutes on. So then to get some, because I looked like as the second half was progressing, I think Frida, I thought had a really good game. Obviously got the goal. I think need that position needed freshening up. Put Stina on, moved Russo to 10. I was hoping to see Rose. I know you were hoping to see Rose a Lottie. Sadly, it wasn't to be this time.
It's okay. Hopefully in 2 weeks. Well, 12 days. 12 days. 12 days. It's that magic number, 12 days. It's Freedom Arnhem Day today.
At time of recording, it is 12 days, yes. I was hoping to see Rosa, but I think Jonas mentioned in his post-match press conference, he was quite concerned about extra time. That worry of he wants to have something left, a few more aces to play, should horror Rosenborg get that late equaliser. So that's why, say, Beth Mead, for example, came on probably with like 7 minutes to go rather than, say, 20. I think, there is at 1-0. There's a delicate balance, especially with substitutions, with team management, and I think it became a sort of, it's working at the moment. Don't alter things too much, and you have to say ultimately it was the right decision. We got the result. We just didn't get as many goals as we'd like, but there's certainly enough potential to suggest that the goals will come soon, or more. Well, up to it against Rangers, but against the tougher oppositions, more goals will definitely come.
There is that argument, though, isn't there, that perhaps we use the goals to, in quotes, air quotes for those that are wondering, used all the goals up in the Rangers game instead of saving them for the game for the Rosenborg game. But to be honest, I think this is a good excuse of. Sorry, not excuse, a good idea to play a team like Rosenborg because they're a different type of calibre that you usually see. It's going to be about how you manage the game. Sometimes with Jonas, it's a bit of a yo-yo. You don't know whether you're going to have good Jonas, where he's going to make good rotations in the subs, or there'll be bad Jonas where he's just waiting for that moment, and before you know it, it's the 95th minute, and you 0-0 it, and you missed a chance to bring on the players. It's one that it is going to be.
Well, it's the old line, isn't it? The distance between genius and insanity is measured only by success, isn't it? What Jonas can make a decision, and if he wins the game 3-0, it's a brilliant decision. That same decision he can make the next game, we could lose 3-0, and we'll be questioning why on earth did he do that. So it's the old thing. The result ultimately justifies, whether he got it right or not. On this instance, he obviously did. It's not an easy job being a football manager. You have to make tough calls. You have to make calls in the moment, and you're not always going to get them correct. And I think if we look over to the men's side, I think we can say Arteta probably has made incorrect decisions. Emery certainly did. That's why he's now managing Aston Villa and not at Arsenal. Jonas, he's made mistakes. I can think of certainly a few games where I thought, no, I wouldn't have made that call. A few in the Spurs game come to mind, the away game at Spurs. There's a few substitutions I thought, how he got.
Lottie's being given at PST for those that are wondering.
No. Adam's not wrong. Let's be honest with you. I mean, it was kind of awkward at the start of the game. I will say that, and I'm going to get Adam's opinion on this in a minute. Obviously, team lineups are read up. You when your own team comes through, you cheer your names through. The last person to come through was Jonas Eidevall. Meadow Park went silent.
Yes,
and that was really awkward. I'm going to be honest with you. That was awkward because I'm not a Jonas in or out. I just want my team to do well. yes, I know between us three we've had conversations like, is he going to survive this season? And again, we've had 2 sideways seasons, so I don't know. Adam's thoughts on the silence at Meadow Park when they
Yes.
his name out.
Yes, I think we'll
It's a good-
save the
it's a good shout.
Jonas talk further down the line, or won't we? For I think it would be more of a pre.
No, I just
pre-
want Adam
Sorry,
to
go
answer
on.
this one because
Yeah,
we were both
no, it
there.
was-
Sorry,
no,
Matt, I just want to pick his
it's fair
brains.
enough.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's not too
like
divulging into the
it's-
Jonas out conversation. It's not going to go that way.
It's fair enough because I was actually talking about this with somebody after the game because I don't think I was in my stand at the time, but a friend of mine was in their stand and he said that there was silence, but he saw this as a good thing because he wasn't being booed. So maybe this is sort of a progression up from it. My feeling with Jonas is with the fans, whether you think he should in or out, is that he had credit in the bank and he promptly lost it last season with how the season panned out. Whether you attribute that blame to Jonas, whether you attribute it to the circumstances that was around the club, or maybe you attribute to both. But the fact is, last season was a failure, despite the trophy, in terms of what our goals were, what we should have been aiming for as a club. He has to earn that respect back. He has to earn that trust back. He earned it the first time around when he first came to the club. This season, he's got to rebuild and he's got to earn it again. And the only way he's going to earn that trust back is by winning. He wins if he gets through we got through this qualifiers. If he gets through the playoffs, we now know who our opponent's going to be. Spoiler alert, BK Häcken. If he gets through that, and then he's then got to get into Bissell, he's got to start with Bissell fast, and he's got to win there. He's got Manchester City, he's got Chelsea at home at Emirates Stadium. He's got those 2 games. He needs to get points from those games. And then if he opens up his WSL season with a strong start, with a good winning run and some good exciting play, people cheer Jonas' name again. They're just annoyed after what happened last season and obviously what happened with Miedemar departing. Although I think the arrival of Mariona has maybe softened that blow somewhat because for those of us in the stadium, she's definitely a fan favourite.
I'm glad you brought that up because the atmosphere sort of, again, when the game sort of tails off, the fans bring it back to life a little bit. So for about 18 verses, all you heard was Mariona's chant. And
So,
I think I know there's this split. I don't want to go into it. I'm not going to talk about the chant, but it was just that atmosphere.
No, I've seen glimpses of this split. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm finding a lot of complaints are for people who actually don't go, and it annoys me. People who are there week in, week out, most of them all for it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I could just actually sorry, no, I need to wait on this because I know people who were at the ground who weren't actually happy with it as well. So it's not just the people who weren't there. There are people who were there. There are
but the voices that I'm seeing are for people who don't go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know who you mean. So yeah, I'm all for the chant. I like it. I like a chant. I like it. It's easy to learn. It's obviously an analog from the Mo and Any chant. I think it's brilliant, and I love it more because the players love it. And I think when the player enjoys the chant and respects the chant, I mean, we all know the fact the players love the Chloe Lacasse chant. I mean, Cara spoke post-match how the players are gutted. The fans aren't going to sing that one anymore. But I think this one's going to be a fan favourite. Now, some of the questions around it, I can understand as well. And that's purely based on the fact that she's known by Mariona because it's a Spanish thing. You're known by your first name rather than as your surname, Caldente. So there are some question marks over it. And some people don't chants that repeat themselves ad nauseum, just on a loop, because this is a chant that you see on a loop, a bit like the Saliba chant. Some people think, it goes on a bit too long. I don't mind that because I always find it a bit of a laugh when it's like going on a wave machine at a swimming pool. You think you've got the last wave and suddenly, it's calm. And then the next wave comes in and where we go again. And that's what it was. I think it was in the second half for about 8 minutes. It was just like the chant finished and then somebody in the North Bank goes, oh, and then it back on again. And it helped a lot because the game at that point has sort of flatlined a bit. The pace had dropped out, which brings back to another. I was talking to Savannah about this, and it's quite a poor criticism, but I do get what they mean when they say it's a bit like when you're at a game and you get a Mexican wave going because the game's so. I know it's not, but it's the idea that the fans are entertaining themselves because the game isn't providing the entertainment. I would counter this chant is great because it bonds with the players rather than just being a bit of in a fan spectacle, like Frank Paper Plane.
It feels like you're telling me we should be policing when we can and can't sing. That is what I'm hearing. from
No, we
my
should.
point of view right
No,
now,
this is
because I'm
no,
a
not
fan
for
that
me.
will
But
raise my voice even if their game is winning, losing, whatever.
oh yeah,
Like,
no,
I feel like that's
this
policing. I appreciate where
this
you're
is what.
coming from, but I feel like
Yeah.
that's policing and saying who can and can't sing at what point in the game.
No,
Because
sorry. This is what the
that's what it
arguments
sounds
people are
like from
having.
someone who
Sorry.
does all sing all the time. Like, you're not offending me. I'm just
No.
want to put my
I'm
point
saying
across
not,
like you. And
that's not my. Yeah.
so that's what you sound like to me. And it's just like, hang on a minute. People can sing what chants if they want. I remember seeing a tweet from Freddie Cardi from the
Yeah.
Gooner fanzine, and there was a group of girls that was sitting here in front of him singing a
Yes.
chant about Alessia Russo. She's 5'9". I was like, that would drive me mad too. Shout out to Freddie, by the way. That tweet did make me laugh, but I did feel sorry for you because it was kind of it was okay, but it wasn't fantastic reading the words. No. Yeah, no, and it's great that other fans are trying to come up with chants and stuff like that, and it's not just the red and white. As much as we love them and much as we appreciate them, other fans can do that kind of thing.
Absolutely, and this is what I try to say. I'm not trying to police it at all, but there are people who have. Yeah, I think just as much as you're right to chant it, I think you have much to right to question it as well. Because sometimes questioning things make things better. I love this chant and I love singing it. I love singing it in the East Stand because we were sort of following on from the North Bank, and I loved that it just kept on going and going and going. And I'd happily sing it for 90 minutes.
Where I was sitting, I was sort of in the south of the West Stand, but we were singing it as well. Like, I know, I think what really helps is that the Twist and Shout by the Beatles is a generational song, and a lot of the older fans in front of me were singing along to it because they already knew the words. It was just where they swapped words around. It was like it went quiet and then it picked up again, which I really, really did like. It's a song for all ages. Do you know what I mean? There's consideration in for the fans that have been going for years, and all of a sudden, this new generation of like fans have come in between their early 20s to late teens up to their early 30s, have come in and they've started all these new songs, and it's one way to be inclusive. That's what I really like about this particular one. It's the same with the ABBA songs. It's inclusive for everybody. Everybody loves an ABBA song. I hardly ever know anyone who doesn't like ABBA, but it's very much inclusive, and I think for me this is definitely one for the season. It's good fun.
Does it trump the Lacasse chant?
No, it's a close second. I love the Lacasse chant. When the song comes on and my Arsenal playlist, I'm still switching between Chloe Lacasse and Bukayo Saka. I'm doing that now with Mario Cardente and Mohamed El Neni, because it was a Mohamed El Neni song originally over at the Emirates, and they've just switched the words because the syllables match, and it works. It really does.
Well, speaking of Beatles songs, actually, because I discovered, I didn't know about this because it shows my age when it comes to Arsenal, but apparently Yellow Submarine is also used as a chant for Perry Groves, I think it was.
Yes,
so clearly that's the next one on the conveyor belt for Arsenal women chants. It
could be. It depends what people come off. It all depends on what people come up with and how catchy it is, and what people know. It has to be sort of like, again, like neutral thing. Like the Chloe Lacasse one, originally it came out from the England fans watching Bukayo Saka, because that's where it's come, and someone in our fan base has changed it to Chloe Lacasse, and then obviously the Arsenal boys have converted it to suit the Arsenal men for Bukayo Saka. Although it's not a favourite, it still exists. I know that there was one from Martin Odegaard based on Belinda Carlisle's Heaven is a Place on Earth. We now sing that for Frida. Although the more popular one, converted from Martin Odegaard to Kyra Cooney Cross, is there. That one is also another one from Martin Odegaard, but it's specifically for Frida because they're both Norwegian, which I thought was really cool.
I'm loving that our charts are so created that we're not just spelling our team's name out on a loop every 5 seconds, or just saying that, not mentioning any clubs, but it's nice that we have such a variety of chants and that they're all getting sung, because
definitely.
The atmosphere at Bennett Park.
I definitely think is you just don't want one sort of chant. Since I've been going, it has been revolutionised, and I've really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people look at a lot of these songs and go, "Oh, they're men's chant songs." Like, no, they can be adapted to the women's game. Why not?
Yeah, and it's worked. It's worked a treat.
Sometimes it helps though to have something new and a bit different that's not really out there.
It does, but that can be difficult. And I get where you're coming from, Matt, but I just feel like that can be difficult when you, as I said earlier, when you've got a song that people already know. It's easier to just change the words just a little bit and then get it back going because people will sing it. My prime example, there's only one Dennis Bergkamp. There's only one Kimmy Little. People know that song.
It works.
It does. And there's no other player that deserves that song apart from Kim.
Oh, absolutely.
Give it a few years, it might end up going to Leah Williamson.
Hey,
Ouch.
Not an ouch, an opportunity, just saying.
but that song belongs to the number 10s. I don't think so. I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Yeah, the Dennis Bergkamp chant didn't get reappropriated to another men's player, did it?
That's because no one's
exactly.
stayed
It
that as long as Dennis Bergkamp. That's why. And the closest player that nearly did was Jack Wilshere. Anyway, that's enough of the men's. Well, just want to get your thoughts on Jonas has pulled this quote out about the Champions League and this mini tournament that's happened. So
Yes.
for all the excitement, it is a relic from the past. This is just done from a budget perspective. That's why they cram it in on Saturdays to save another hotel night by playing on a Sunday. The WSL has zero concerns about it. UEFA has zero concerns about it. Science is fact. It impacts injury risk. It's just that science is one thing and broadcasting money is just another thing. Now, considering the fact that no one's really benefiting from this at the moment, apart from UEFA, because there is no broadcasting rights going into the qualifying stages. Is Jonas right to pull this up and say it's a bit of frustration because he wants the players to have that extra day to rest and recover, especially after that game against Rangers?
I mean, it should be questioned. I mean, I like having games close to each other. That's why I like the Christmas period, because you get loads of football matches already condensed together. But at the same time, you have to consider player welfare. And, at that early stage of the season, it's not great. It's very easy at that point, with players who aren't, I don't think, at full fitness and fully on track, on speed, however you want to phrase it, having a rapid succession of very competitive games, not relaxed friendlies, although no friendly against Chelsea is relaxed, but high intensity games that are must win, very close to each other, is dangerous. I mean, I think he's got a point there. The problem is logistically, there is no other way around it. And because of the travel, because of the hotel stays, the calendar itself, I mean, the alternative is you start the season even earlier. So you're condensing the important rest time over summer even more.
Exactly.
So,
you reduce the winter break. That's 4 weeks. And I understand we need that. But this is a kind of sacrifice you're gonna get. You either lose some of the summer or you lose a week either side of the winter break. And it's just really hard. They don't have longer seasons. They never have. They all finish, even the men's finishes the same weekend as the women does. Because normally we're all there back to back, one men's game, one women's game. I know me and you are, Adam, and Matt's usually at the women's, but it is difficult. I get where he's coming from, but the balance is really hard. Even the men are starting to complain about how many games that they're having to play, and this is going to sound really bad. I kind of have no sympathy for the men because the amount of money they're being paid. It's ridiculous. And you look at the women, and it's just we haven't got the right facilities, haven't got the right coverage, no TV rights, no correct footwear for a start. Like, I know they're trying to sort that out now, but it's a little bit too late. It's that women's football's in the public eye because of the Lionesses, and if we hadn't won the Euros, none of this would be done. Let's be honest.
I think the trade-off is with these qualifiers is because it's all localized in one place. It's not like you're jetting off to different locations in every 3 days. You have at least an element of you can train in your local area, and it's in a local area, shall we say. There's limited travel. So I think, and this is one about cheaper hotel stays and so forth, but I think there's a lot of question marks now because this format is changing next season. And there's a question mark. I've heard some people say this qualification system goes because it's going to be, I think it goes from 16 to 18 teams next season in this Swiss model. So some people are saying this pre-qualification will go. Some are saying, oh no, it is staying. It's not going at all. So there's a bit of a question mark around it. It's always felt weird. It's always felt a weird system to to start the season. It's always felt weird since we started doing it. If it does go, I don't think many tears will be shed on it.
Just from my understanding, I think there's going to be slight changes, but it's not going to be a lot for you to notice. It might be the fact that there might be one more. If it's 18, then I'd imagine that there would be 2 more mini tournaments going on, or it might be something a bit different. I'm not too sure. I'll have to make sure I have a proper look, because usually around this time, if there's a new tournament, for example, then all that details will have to be mentioned, because that new knockout system, we imagine it's going to be called Europa League. That will be straight knockout. There won't be any different. It'll be straight knockouts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens then as well, because then that affects WSL as well, and that will also affect the other leagues as well. It's not just going to be anymore the top 3 sides are automatically not automatic, are going into the Champions League next season. It could be 3rd place ends up in the Europa League next season. But we should get onto the draw. I've gone through them all, and I'm just going to quickly run through the Champions Path just quickly. St. Polten versus Mura, Benfica versus Hammarby. I'm looking forward to that one, because that's going to be a very tasty tie. Ozajeki versus 20. Galatasaray, first time in the Champions League, and they play Slavia Praha. Roma versus Salviet. Vorskla Polskava against Celtic. On that front, that would be quite an interesting tie. Onto the league path. This is where the tasty ones go. Sporting CP, Real Madrid, Juventus, PSG. So Juventus or PSG could once again be knocked out even before the league actually starts. Paris FC versus Man City.
Florence. They're coming for you, Man City. Paris are coming for you. I don't know if you guys saw my meme earlier. I'm really sorry, I can't help myself here. But did you guys see my meme earlier of death going through the different doors?
Oh yes,
First one was Arsenal.
Yeah.
Second one was Real Madrid.
Wolfsburg,
and the third one was the second one was Wolfsburg. Third one was Real Madrid. And now he's knocking on City's door. I wonder how Viv's feeling. I know she didn't play, but I wonder how she's feeling. Any thoughts?
I think she'll be fine. She'll just see it as an opportunity to score 6 goals. She's Viv,
basically.
Sorry, Matt, please do continue.
Yeah, I made my notes 9 about that, and that was a different meme. Let's just call it that. Fiorentina versus Wolfsburg. That would be an interesting one. Fiorentina are an up-and-coming Italian team, and Wolfsburg again didn't make this group stages last season. And last but not least, the last one to come out was BK Häcken versus Arsenal. I think that is probably the best draw that we could have probably had, considering everything that happened.
Considering they came second to Rosengård in the Danmarksvenskan. So my Swedish fans, I know I've just butchered that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, I'm quite looking forward to it, because again, we've got a lot of Swedish players, so we know that Jonas watches that kind of area of football. So it should be interesting. The 2 legs. The dates for that, I know the home leg's on the 26th. Is it the 18th, the away leg?
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Sorry.
But no, that's all right. I will go through the fixtures between both City and Arsenal, because it's quite interesting, actually. I'll do this now quickly before Adam, you jump in.
Is it? Can you hurry up?
Yeah. BK Häcken away on the 18th. Man City at home on the 22nd. BK Häcken then at home on the 26th. And then we play Leicester away on the 29th.
Yeah.
And then Man City, you've got Paris away, although that date's to be confirmed, which is a bit odd. They're the last team to actually confirm. I've just realised
I'm going to have a really busy week that week. Wednesday night, I'm going to Bolton.
Yes. And Thursday night, you're coming to Meadow Park.
The 21's on Friday night. And then on Sunday, I'll be watching Leicester. I've got a busy week. Oh, my God. It's a lot of football.
No,
I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. I know, right?
True. Yes, so I'm looking at the draw. I mean, the one team I wanted didn't come out. I wanted Fiorentina or Sporting Lisbon. Those ones are looking for. We didn't get those. We avoided Paris FC, which I was very grateful for, because the narratives there were just steaming hot. But this one is equally narrative laden.
I think the whole fan base is just out of nice. deep, calming, relaxing
Yeah.
breath when
I
that
mean,
happened.
some people wanted Paris, but I think I couldn't think of a better team for them to play against than Manchester City. It's great because like it's one of those things like
Absolutely.
one of the teams like I don't know whether I'm going to become an honorary. No, I'm going to become an honorary Paris FC fan because you can't support Manchester City going into the group stage. Just the fact that
I'm sorry, but I'm just supporting the goalkeepers union. She had a blinder against us. I want another one.
Menduzi, was it?
the one who danced when they saved penalties.
Nendozi. She
Nendozi.
just came back from the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Did they get to the quarters?
Yes.
No, because last 16 because they went out on penalties to us because she didn't. Was it Nigeria?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they went out on penalties to us. She didn't save a single penalty, and then in our
And then
shootout, I think she saved.
She saw Russo and thought, "No, I'm not having any of this today."
Yeah.
Russo already scored 2 there.
Yeah.
It's all right. They've got Lauren Hemp and Chloe Kelly. I'm sure she'll remember them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Manchester City, Paris FC. I mean, Manchester City will be relieved because they couldn't draw Real Madrid this time around, so they might have a chance. We'll see what happens there. As for us, BK Häcken, we have played them before in the Champions League. They were known by a different name then. They were known as Göteborg. We beat them 3-2 on aggregate. That was in 2012 in the quarterfinals. We won the home leg, but lost the away leg, just scraped through. Interesting look at the team. Ruby Grant, an ex-Arsenal player, now plays for them. Meanwhile, we have ex-BK Häcken stars Rosa Kakaji and Christina Blackstenius. So sort of interesting sort of cross sort of pollination of ex-players on both sides. So this is equally, this is what I was saying about Paris FC was narrative. This has got a lot of narratives as well. We could have former players scoring against each other. It could be anything. It's not a team I didn't want, but I think this is going to be a really close one. I'm thinking like Ajax a few seasons ago when it needed 2 legs. We drew the home leg and it was a tight away leg in awful conditions and we scraped through. I don't think this is going to be an easy one. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a good competitive game, but I think it's going to be a challenge as well, and exacerbated by the fact that we've got Manchester City plumped right in the middle. So we've got 3 major games in a week basically. And ideally, we need to win all 3 of them. The advantage is we've got the home leg second to fall back on. So if we can go to Häcken and get a result, if it's any sort of lead, take them back to Meadow Park. We've got the North Bank, we've got the East Stand, West Stand singing, 3,500, whoever it is, 4,000, and then we've got a chance. I think it's going to be a cracking Champions League tie. I can't wait for it.
So I'll just quickly go on to City's fixtures, but because they're a bit similar, but obviously that date against Paris has to be confirmed yet. They're not too sure on that. Arsenal on the 22nd, then Paris at home on the 25th, and then they got a home tie against Brighton. So to put it into perspective, Arsenal's away game's 12:30, the Paris FC game at home, that's going to be 7:00 kickoff, and then the Brighton home game is another 12:30. Their recovery is going to be all over the place.
I think they'll manage as long as they rotate properly. If you look at our bench, you look at City's bench, there is depth there in both teams. It's going to be about the managerial decisions and who he starts, who he rotates, and who he rests. And I think that's going to be the key to that week for both teams, if I'm honest with you. But Jonas has to get it right. That's my only fear. Yes, we know it's the Emirates. We know there's going to be a lot of fans in there. And it's a unique experience for those players because they're not used to that volume. I mean, Meadow Park is what, 4,500? Is that right?
4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 capacity, and then you're literally times it by whatever to get up to 60,000 in the Emirates. If they do get a sellout on that first game, it's going to be a good game for both teams, I think, because I don't even think City experience that volume of fans, although it's opposition, but fans in the ground. It'll be very interesting. But
That's
again, Jonas has to get it right.
Yeah.
It's going back and drifting off such subject. Jonas needs to make the right decisions, rotate, because we can't complain we don't have any depth anymore. We just can't.
No. I mean, the bench is scary that you can bring on off the bench Leah Velti and Beth Mead, or Lotte Bemoy, and
or Rosa
Stina.
Kaffaji. You got Stina, Rosa Kaffaji. You could even throw Katie Reid in there just for a laugh. I mean,
You
I
just
want to see more
stolen my
Katie Reid
next
this season.
point.
Well, actually,
But you can
just-
throw on
just
the
quick-
youngsters, Vivian Leah as well. Vivian
Yeah.
Leah will probably give
I
everyone a run for
don't
their money
think
this
Vivian
season.
Leah is a wise choice for City, if I'm honest with you. Maybe Leicester, not City, no.
Just on the Rosa Cafferty thing, you did bring up another point I forgot to mention, and that's what I think might just give us an edge, because last season BK Häcken had a really good Champions League campaign. They're in the same group as Real Madrid and Chelsea last season. They went to Chelsea and got a 0-0 draw. They beat Real Madrid home and away, got to a quarter-final, scored against PSG, although ultimately went out then. But we've just signed their star player in Rosa Cafferty. We've taken them off them, and so you would hope that, because she was key to that Champions League run. She got a lot of critical goals. It was, I think, it's about 3 or 4 goals. I can't remember exactly, but she's got a lot of crucial goals on that run, and we've taken her off their books. Hopefully, that's the equivalent of pulling the cork out the bath, effectively. But it remains to be seen. But that's what gives me hope, and also Rosa can give us a bit of an inside line into how BK Häcken play as well. So it'd be interesting to see. And as you say, Manchester City, they have played away at Old Trafford, and the attendances there weren't too bad actually for the derby, but it won't be anything like Emirates Stadium. That'll be
Emirates Stadium is just a fortress at this point
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the. We're still waiting for everyone to catch up, but the fans that do turn up, even if it's just 40,000, it's still great.
And 40,000 fans singing "Shake It Caldente."
I don't think everyone will know that that quickly. I know there's the Bring the Noise block.
They'll know it. We'll
There's
make
about
sure
5
they know
blocks
it.
of them, so
So just quickly, Adam, you've already touched on this. So you said yes. Lottie, do you think Arsenal could have qualified for the group stages?
Well, I've been telling everybody in the group chat you got to go and claim your own seats. So yeah, on the 27th, because obviously I bought them as a group and I've allocated everyone to their membership. So it's down to them to get their own tickets.
I'm a born pessimist, so I'll always say no. But the truth is, we have to win. We have to win this playoff. It's if we lose this playoff, then we're back to where we started last season, and then the knives will be out for Jonas once again, and there'll be serious questions about the team, about the manager. He has to get these games right. If he gets these games right, the season we can enjoy the season whatever happens, because we'll have group stage Champions League. It's not whether I want to win or not. We have to. We have to get through this time. We have to be the ones that come out on top, and that's for that level of high stakes this early on in the season, or even before the season started, is just bonkers. But that's what we're dealing with. That's what happens when you finish third or second in the WSL. So yeah, just got to go in, and we just got to get the job done. We have the quality. It's just where the only thing is, I think Swedish league has already started. So
Yes.
with BK Häcken, they may be more up to speed than us. So that's why this next week is so crucial a training pitch to get everybody in sync and firing, because we've got Champions League winners in our team. We've got European Euro winners, World Cup winners in our team. We've got Champions League experience in our team. We have the components. We've just got to get it to work for these next few games, and then hopefully we'll be fine.
But we're seeing it working. Can I just?
We think it working, but I think we can better.
I know it can get better because I know what Mariona Caldente's got in her locker. I've watched her since she came and tanked us and skinned 30 minutes at the Emirates. But
yeah.
Oh, and also Kate McKay. I'm sorry, she got terrorized. But I've watched her since then, and I'm a massive fan. I can't wait to see what else she's got for us this season, as well as Rosa. Rose, as I said, I'm still waiting to see her live. I'm actually jealous about them. I'm not even joking.
My feeling is with that is I think when Mariona is fully in sync with the team, she's going to be even better. I think we saw a lot of good stuff over these matches. I liked what I saw, especially against Rangers. I liked the creativity against Rosenborg, but I know it needs to be better than that. We can't just scrape a 1-0 win like we did against Rosenborg.
Can we just imagine a Mariona Caldente link up with Rosa Cafferty?
Well, that's the dream, isn't it?
That would be poetry in motion. I can't wait.
That is all from us tonight. Lottie, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me at Lottie AWFC. I had a few problems today. There are people out there stealing my photographs, so please make sure it's at Lottie_AWFC and no other handle. Thank you.
Adam, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me at Adam Salter4 on Twitter/X. You can find me at Adam_Salter4 on Threads, where I occasionally post as well. And you can also find the Arsenal Women Archive at the AW Archive. We've had a few more clips come through in recent days as well. So it's still growing, and more content's on the way. So do give it a follow and keep an eye out.
You can follow the pod at VAW Pod. You can also follow me at MattLR28. That is all from us today, wherever you're listening or watching. That's all from us. And don't forget, come on, you Gunners.